Welcome back, everyone. I'm Vita Prestio, and this is Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 17. Alright, again, another box that, well, I was about to say it's not meta, but this is definitely a rush box of some sort, but it's using characters that you usually don't see either. Hey, another nymph. I did go against a almost entirely princess box, and it beat me. I did very poorly against her. I believe it was everyone was princess faction except for one of the tanks, and I don't remember her name. It was the person that was in Yellow's faction that is aquatic. Spoiler: she dies in the story, but yeah, I went up against that. It even had Luna. Luna was definitely putting in work in that match, mainly for the mobility, and I got outplayed by a Mariandel, so it was pretty cool. Definitely props on that box. I was definitely annoyed because I'm trying desperately to get to gold 3. The match before this one was another loss where I came like 1,000 damage short of getting kills over and over again. My opponent, it was another seasoned veteran, seasoned Langrisser veteran rather, and their units were just so unbelievably tanky. Like, it was insane how tanky some of their healers were. Like, their healers had like 800 defense. It was absolutely ridiculous. Needless to say, I couldn't do anything. Like, usually I would be able to, even if I shoot like at 8 range with Silvaria, I still couldn't kill them. Even when I broke full HP, it was insane. In any case, my opponent here is Tonberry, which is a terrifying Final Fantasy creature. They opened by banning my Hilda, and there's no Andriel in this box, so I was like, what do I need to get rid of? And I don't remember the name of this character, so I'm going... I think it's not... Is it? No, it's not Vincent. It's Julian. I never remember his name, even though he's killed me a few times. I didn't have to look it up. You can't prove it. In any case, I end up banning Julian first, because his mobility becomes... He's able to cover the entire map if anyone in the group takes damage. So he's essentially perfect for following up. So I was like, alright, we'll just get rid of him and see where things go. Everything here kind of terrifies me. Ares, old school Ares here can shuffle my formation and do quite a bit of damage. We got Clotaire here that can do a bunch of debuffs, some fixed damage, and if the debuffs go through, he can potentially negate self-resing. We got Polio here. We got Nemia that can do a bunch of terrain. Of course, Sword and Light and Shadow. If she gets in range after I'm softening up, she's probably going to get kill. We got SP Matthew, who's just annoying. He likes to steal a lot of buffs and then apply buff negation. And then, of course, we got Wedem here as well. So it's just a lot of characters that are designed to cover the map and make my life hell. And of course we get Aya to kind of bring it all together. The 30% attack buff from Aya is, or sorry, not Aya, Akka. I usually call her Akaya because that's usually what her original name was. But her 30% buff is going to probably destroy me. Anyway, I go get Rosenseal out because I know AoEs are coming. I lose Awakened one, I lose Nemia. They go ahead and open with Sword and Light and Shadow. This one's infantry class, probably for the extra mobility. I go ahead and get rid of Polyol. I go ahead and get rid of SP Leon because I don't want to get shuffled or terrain blasted. I go ahead and grab Isolde. They go ahead and start banning. They ban Eshian. They ban Connie there. And sorry if I'm pausing a bit. I'm kind of exhausted. I'll talk more about that after the match. But yeah, my opponent's just focusing all my DPS at this point. I think I only have, Tatalia and Silvaria are all my only ones left. We got Wedem out here. I go ahead and get rid of Eshian, get rid of SP Matthew. Go ahead and grab Florentia. Because I'm not expecting to get these DPS out. I'm expecting these DPS just to die. So my idea here is just to try to outlast my opponent and have Isolde clean up. Florentia does have faction buff from Rosenseal, but I'll probably not have time to do it. We got Jintoki. It's been a while since we've gone up against a Jintoki. I get rid of Ares. I get rid of Auton Kelmo. I grab Freya, because I want the fixed damage, and I'm praying my opponent does not have fixed damage immunity. Also, Freya tends to have the most reliable, as far as damage reduction with Redeemers and her kit and stuff like that, so I'm hoping that she can just endure long enough. Her only self-res, unfortunately, is through Redeemers, and if she gets a debuff, she loses it. So we'll see how that goes. In any case, Akka, so they have their buff. I go ahead and get rid of Nemia, I go ahead and get Awakened One. So this leaves just Clotaire and Nymph, and it looks like with how they have things set out, they're probably going to grab Clotaire. I go ahead and grab Liana, so I have 3 healers, and 2 of them with Act Agains. So I'm hoping to just try to get Isolde up and running as quickly as possible. At the very least, I have enough healing to buy myself some time. So I got Clotaire, and here we go. Alright, Resident Seal with Faction Buff and AoE heals, Shrine Maidens. Florentia has Forest Priest. I did take a look at her troops, and honestly, she didn't have much. I did swap out her passive for a heal, because I figured I might need it. I got Strategic Regroup and then Resounding Might, her 3C. She does start with 6 coins, or 6 stratagems. She gets an extra one because of her exclusive. We got Isolde, Star Prismas with all of her exclusives. We got Freya here, Fury the Rose, Crystal Spike, and Rose Lash. She does have the Inscription talent, so she will get Phalanx when she puts up her 3C, or if she puts up Rose Lash. I do have Redeemers here, which do reduce damage taken by 20%, and then at full HP, it also reduces damage by like another 30%, and then her kit also reduces damage by 15%. So she's got quite a bit of things going on here. And I'm just seeing what else it could do here. Increasing the God Spirit, blah, blah, blah. Takes all attack, blah, blah, blah. She does have immunity to being... she has immunity to heal prevention as part of her kit. So I think her accessory is the thing that prevents heal reversal in Curse of Wounding. Anyway, let's see. We got Redum here with Gargoyles, of all things. I don't know if he is max stars or not, because I don't know if 15% is the cap or not. In any case, he has Air Slash, Shadow Step, and Shadow of Alizard. So he doesn't have his, what do you call it? He doesn't have his Sword Soul type ability. We got Jintoki here with Phalanxes. I don't know why, but he does have all of his usual exclusives, so Scooter Dash, Sugar Intake, and his 3C. We got Clotaire here, all of his exclusives. He has Guardian Infantry, which is nothing too out of the ordinary. We got Akaya here. All of her exclusives. She did opt to bring her 3C and not the Act Again. And then Sword and Light Shadow has Steelman Werewolves, and then has then bring the AoE. So yeah, the object here is just to survive. So first things first, I go ahead and put up Mass Crystal Healing to get stacks up, because I know Clotaire's going to come first. But I was wrong, it was actually Akka first. So Wild Power, this is going to give everyone +2 mobility and +30% intelligence and attack. Needless to say, he's going to be pretty bulky here. Jintoki also, since a unit got killed, Jintoki is now max stack already, so he is kind of dangerous. His Sugar Intake lets him move 3 spaces? Yep, 3 blocks. So he could go 1, 2, 3. Okay, so he actually needs Scooter Dash to reach. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and get started. So I go ahead and put up Faction Buff. This will just buff herself, but more importantly, it gets her a bunch of buffs that she can stack on top of herself. So, yeah, she has her Faction Buff, all her stat buffs, and then she got Phalanx for free, which does some extra barb damage based off her defense. Alright, here comes. Also, I had her act just so she can get another crystal stack, because I knew this was coming. Alright, so some fixed damage there. So I go ahead and do Primordial Soul. I go with Sustenance so I can have the cooldown reduction. I go ahead and use this opportunity to go ahead and get a kill using my 3C. So this will get me another talent buff. Yeah, so another wolf gets spawned. Jintoki hasn't acted yet, so his act again does not trigger. So at this point, Jintoki can actually run up and just attack if he really wanted to, but he didn't. Instead, he did Scooter Dash. Which did... I'm out of crystal stacks on both Isolde and Freya. In fact, majority of the... Actually, everyone is out of crystal stacks at this point. So I go ahead and use this opportunity to do strategic regroup and get everyone healed up. The druids that she has do buff her healing, which is helpful. Alright. So I'm not sure what the plan here was. I'm honestly... So, first things first. Wedam has Air Slash, or not Air Slash, Shadow Step, which lets him teleport to any unit that has less than 100 HP. Which is... I have 2 units that have that. So he could have teleported to here or here. And then he could have opted to do is in block. Oh, actually, no. Sorry, he is okay. He's correct. So I don't use this character, so I'm not 100% familiar. So the way this works is he only gets the move act again if he's within 3 blocks of the Shadow of Alizar, which he just threw out, or if someone has Despair, which no one has Despair because no one has died. Okay, so he had to throw the sword out. Now, one thing to go ahead and point out, which we'll point out in a second. So I do some fixed damage here. Not a lot, though. Nearly died. So that 30% attack buff is definitely real. But I also do a ton of fixed damage. Alright, so... Throwing the sword gives him 3 extra steps of movement. Yeah, 3 steps of movement, and then he can attack again. But there was that spot where I paused, where he had 2 steps. There's a boots that I haven't used in a while, where if you ever do any sort of attack, you can move 2 steps afterwards. It doesn't have to be a direct attack; it could be an AOE, and it doesn't even need to hit. So what he did was he threw his sword, his boots activated, let him go 2 steps, and then he went 3 steps. It's with this, Wedam can definitely cover the entire map very easily if he has those boots. The trade-off, of course, is the boots don't give much as far as attack buffs are concerned. But yeah, that 30% attack buff definitely hurt a lot. Thankfully, he's gone through all of his buffs now, but he is still a problem. So I can kill him. That's definitely a thing I can do. But killing him, of course, will make Jintoki active again. So I do it anyway. I could have went for Jintoki, but I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get kill or not. I was not confident that I was going to be able to. I mean, if I had, it would have been great. But with the phalanxes, with the 8%, he has 32% reduction with this. And another 30% from this, so there's a good chance I could have not got enough damage in. The defense of this guy is actually not that good. Yeah, it was too risky. If I had gone for it, there's a good chance I would have died. And then what would happen is Sword of Light and Shadow would teleport in and kill me. So I had to kill Wedam, because if I didn't, Sword of Light and Shadow would just teleport to where Wedam's at, and then start killing my tank. And right now I have no stacks, so it's a problem. So I go ahead and fall back here. Did I not do Sustenance? Why didn't I do Sustenance? Oh, my stuff was all on cooldown. Gotcha. Okay, I think I used Sustenance earlier. That might have been it. No, I didn't. So why is it on cooldown? Oh, it's on cooldown because I used the other ability. That's right. Okay, sorry, I got mixed up. I used my Solitary Journey attack on on what end there, so that's why I didn't heal. Sorry, got completely mixed up there. Alright, so as you can see, taking a lot of extra damage here. The Toyaku AoE thankfully didn't kill me. This will, though. He does get first strike because of his anger form. But I have no debuffs. Wait, did you not... He didn't use Toyaku. Why? If he had done Toyaku, that would have killed. 100%. Yeah, if he had done Toyaku, it would have... Actually, no, he did do Toyaku. Oh, is it applied after? After battle, it nullifies all equipment. Okay. So the debuff does not apply before the fight. That's why Freya was able to self-res. Okay. So Redeemers did self-res. They do lose a ton of HP as a result. Or 20% of their HP. But the important thing is Freya's still alive. Even with the Dispels, she does have her guard still active and her defensive buffs. So I go ahead and take a risk here. And I go for kill. With Liana here. Again, same reason. If I didn't kill Jintoki there, Sword and Light Shadow would just teleport up. So I was definitely very concerned because troops are going to soak up some of the hits here. And Windbloom Chanters, they can do a little bit of damage, but not a lot. So it's all going to come down to how much the Phalanxes are going to soak from Liana's attack here. Thankfully, he doesn't have high magic defense. So yeah, thankfully my troops hit his Phalanxes before Liana hit. So that soaked up a lot of the damage. So, there we go. So I go ahead and shift up. Get a little bit of passive healing. This, of course, she has first strike. She negated my self-res, but I don't have a self-res anymore because Redeemers have already popped it. Get 50,000 damage. I mean, all of my equipment was negated, so I had, like, no buffs. Alright, so here's the situation. I have no tank, I have 3 healers, and I have Isolde. If I lose Isolde, there's a good chance I might not be able to pull through. Akka here, of course, does tons of damage, but she can't reach. All she has is her 3C. She can get all the way to here, and that's about it. So, as long as I can kill Sword and Light Shadow and then follow up, I should be fine. One thing to note, not much magic defense, and her troops are demon class. But I think she negates... Yeah, she ignores class disadvantage, so I don't think it matters. So I go ahead and do Resounding Might just to do some AoE damage here. My biggest concern was getting counter-killed, but I think Isolde would have been fine, but I wanted to play it safe. So I go ahead and do that just to do some extra damage. And then I move 4 spaces, get this Star Prisma buff. Yeah, I got counter-critted, lost all my troops there. That's why I went for it. And that was with a normal attack. And I go ahead and get resistance. So the next time she does damage, she will be able to act again. So I go ahead and move up, start attacking with these. Critical hit. And then I go ahead and act again on Isolde. Yeah, my opponent gives up at this point. I did have her cooldowns recovered at this point, so I would have been able to put up the bubble again, move 4 spaces, and then just kill Akka. And then all that would be left is the pets. The sword can't do anything, and the wolf by itself is just not going to be able to stop me. So yeah, all Isolde, though Freya did do some help for some fixed damage, and she just took hits like a champ. That was against fully buff characters with 30% attack, thanks to Akka. Yeah, it definitely could have gone a lot worse. Thankfully, the crystal barriers held, and all the attacks that could have potentially killed her came just short. So it just bought me all the time I needed, thankfully. And with that, I'm gold 3. So I used up all 10 of my tickets. I had 10 of those tickets that reduced the fail chance, or the reduce the point loss when you fail, if you're silver or below. I used all of those. So I used 10 of those, so that was 10 losses. I lost once when I was at the 1501, so that's 11, and I lost one more time, losing 10 points when I ran out of tickets. So I lost 12 times to gradually get myself to gold 3, using all those tickets. And yeah, now I can just goof around and do whatever. Needless to say, like I said, I lost a lot of matches. A lot of them were seasoned veterans, and a lot of them just had really good meta boxes that in some cases I just got completely outplayed. There's a number of characters, Langrisser players, that are just really experienced with dealing with Sylvaria, and it's really annoying when they do things like just hang in the back and just bide their time. One of the biggest issue right now is since I have to ban Andriel, my opponent will pick Isolde, and if they're smart enough, they'll just hang back. And Isolde has enough mobility, thanks to that accessory that you should be putting on, the one that gives her additional mobility if she doesn't attack, that what she'll do is she'll just grab the guard bypass talent buff and then just hang back. And then since she'll have high mobility and a move 4 again, I can't actually get in range with Sylvaria safely. And so I end up in a situation where I'm just like, okay, I can't reach my opponent, and my opponent's just going to get all the stacks, and I lose. Also, they tend to grab Eshian, who tends to have a self-res and a lot of active ends. It's just, I don't have a lot of answers right now, unfortunately. There are some characters that are coming out way in the future that have mechanics where they give self-reses to other people, and that's probably the way to get around some of those issues. Once that starts happening, I might be able to start using letting them have Andriel, maybe. But in any case, first of all, let's go in here, because there's something important we have to do. Let's, gentle sheep people will learn from your kindness and humility the essence of resolving strife. Confirm. There you go. We got Anna with her skin, and I'm probably never going to use her. It's pretty much impossible to tell Zolong to not make so many ridiculously power-crept characters, but all will be forgiven if they make an SP Anna that is just stupidly broken. All will be forgiven if they make SP class SP Anna and just make her broken, and see what happens. In any case, let's talk a little bit. This video is going to go on long, I apologize. There's one thing I want to mess around with. I mentioned I was going to goof around, and I'm going to goof around. So, I believe in my previous video I showed off a few things that Sylvaria was able to do with Awakened One, where she can be swapped. Displacement also works, but there's not very many ways to get a displacement on somebody else, at least not an ally. Oh, speaking of the, I mentioned the princess box earlier. The non-princess character that box had was Lucia. Anyway, so we already have the Awakened One who can do the swap, and we can also get. We can also get Ashamir. Ashamir can Invitation to Dance and pull somebody essentially 2 spaces closer to her. She can also give Dance Partner to Sylvaria, which will of course make her stronger. The Dance Partner by itself just gives a flat 15% to all stats, and if she happens to be diagonal, she could do an additional 5% attack and intelligence. And sorry, my throat made a weird sound there. Anyway, so Ashimir is one of them, and she's probably one of the better ones, because the other thing she also has access to is she does have Strengthen. So I don't have to rely so heavily on Rosen Seal to buff Sylvaria there. Now the other option we can drop Joa and Connie. And this one's a wacky one, because it's not super effective. We can grab Angelina here. I'll probably switch to a different accessory, though. And what's this thing do? Yeah, alright. So she has a Tidal Surge. She, of course, has Breath of the Tides, which is one of my go-to assassinate abilities way back in the day. But she also has Alternate. What this does is it drags a friendly unit to you. So this actually lets you do the same thing. It makes you pull the unit 2 spaces and swaps position. Swaps, again, are not teleports. So with this, I can actually move Silvaria 3 spaces. The other thing that's kind of nice about this, like I mentioned, is she can technically move about 7 spaces and then throw out a Breath of the Tides to kind of push back the opponent and possibly freeze them. So it does kind of provide a little bit of threat. The only issue with Angelina, unfortunately, is her kill potential has definitely fallen off, which is why I couldn't really do much with the follow-ups with like Breath of the Tides. But since Juggler's not being used as much anymore, I don't generally care if my opponent has a Hilda or not to prevent the displacement. The only other thing is Rosen Seal, but some of the things we can do with this is, like I mentioned, we can just run her out, push the opponent away, and then go from there. Heck, I can even move my opponent away and then do a alternate to reposition Silvaria. So the idea is going to be try to use these characters and see what happens. I don't expect to get very far, but I was thinking about this as I was thinking about the LLR character that's coming out, the Frozen Queen Elmelda, whatever her name is. I was wondering if she can drag Silvaria around with her 3C and stuff like that. She does also, of course, have a chain hook type thing that can pull Silvaria around, and she can provide her own unique buffs to Silvaria. So I'm hoping to do a situation where I first pick Silvaria and then try to make her as strong as possible to see if I can get the sniping working. Of course, there's a lot of weaknesses to it. Any opponent that knows how Silvaria works will know to not be within 9 range. So all I can really do is just try to make her as bulky as possible and try to see if I can get some kills. And if it doesn't work, that's fine. I mean, I'm gold 3 now. I don't really care if I lose a bunch of times. But with that, I am exhausted. I think I've done 17 matches. Let's see, I lost 12 times and I've won 5, I think. So yes, about 17 matches all in one day. So I think I'm good for now. So I'm going to go ahead and call it. I am the Depressed Hero. This was Langrisser Mobile Apex Season 17. And I'll see you guys next time.